On carnivore, my cholesterol raised, and my cardiologist wanted me to reduce my cholesterol. There's zero evidence that cholesterol causes aortic aneurysms. There's zero evidence to show that cholesterol causes anything besides good health and hormonal health, because you need cholesterol for your hormonal health because they're made out of cholesterol. So this is just a very common myth that's bouncing around from Kellogg and the sugar cereals and things like that, and the sugar companies that have paid off people to vilify cholesterol when it was actually sugar in their processed garbage that was actually hurting people. That's the funny thing. Kellogg, did this because this is going to help people, so we'll get them all plant-based and that's going to help people, and ends up destroying their lives. And then they go, ooh, we got to protect this. And we got to blame something else for it, even though, they know that their own product is causing harm, but they started the product because they thought it was supposed to help people. So you get very twisted, when you do things, even when you think you're doing them for the right motivations. The Nazis and all these other people, they do these things because they think it's the right thing to do. We look on and going, oh, wow, that's bloody evil. But they were thinking, wow, this is a good thing. There's that idiot from WEF, that guy, what is his name? He's just like the picture of a Nazi. I mean, this is Nazi thinking. It's like, well, freedom, that's not really a thing. If you cut someone in half, you'll never find a molecule of freedom and liberty and all that sort of bullshit. This is people rationalizing and intellectualizing the slavery and subjugation and murder and genocide of their fellow man. That's what that is. That's what that mindset and philosophy are. And that's what the Nazis did. And that's what, Lenin did and Stalin did and Mao did. You have to break some eggs to make an omelet. We're making a perfect society, and, if people die, they die. But then we get a perfect society after that. Hashtag worth it. No, it's not worth it. Anything that you have to do, that you have to murder people and kill them and take away and enslave them, is of course not going to lead to a better society, to a better life for anybody except the assholes at the top. But you know what? In a free market, they'd be more wealthy, they'd be more powerful, they'd have more they'd have more influence in their life. They just want that power and that control over other people. Some people don't feel that their lives are meaningful unless they've taken away the meaning from other people. They think it's like a zero-sum game for some reason. But that's it's just a wild tangent that I'm sorry I went on. To answer your question, cholesterol just simply does not cause these problems. On a carnivore diet, your cholesterol is going to go up. Your LDL is going to go up. Tell your doctor not to eat for 5 days and to check his cholesterol. It's going to slam up. Why is that? Because it's a metabolic state change. Your body's running on fat, and you need to mobilize fat around your body so that you can run on that fat. And what does that? Cholesterol does. LDL cholesterol actually transports and moves fat around your body. That's how that works. And so if you're running on fat, then obviously you need more LDL cholesterol to mobilize that fat around your body. This could be thought of part of that fat adaptation process. You need to make more LDL cholesterol to move more fat around your body so that you can run on it, so that you have more of substrate to use. You're bringing more fat from your adipose tissue to your liver so that you can make blood sugar, glycogen, ketones, right? So you need to move that, and LDL cholesterol is what does that. So if you stop eating for 5 days, or you just stop eating carbohydrates, low fat, low carb, your LDL is going to go up. So just don't eat for 5 days. You're not eating any fat, and yet your cholesterol goes up. We make cholesterol. This is not a foreign object. This is not, these different chemicals and plastics and artificial garbage food that didn't exist a century ago that your doctor's telling you to go on instead of the healthiest thing that exists in the world, what we've been eating for 2 million years, which is fatty meat. And never had these diseases. They didn't exist before the 20th century. They weren't even in the literature at all by any other name before the 20th century, unless you go back 4,000 years to the Ebers Papyrus, when they were in Egypt, when they were drinking a lot of beer and eating just tons and tons and tons of grains. They knew what heart disease was. They knew what diabetes was, because they were getting it from all the wheat and bread and beer that they were eating and drinking. So this is brand new to us, but it has existed before when people were eating similar garbage cereal based diet. And so it's this is simply not the cause of heart disease. This is our normal physiology. We make LDL. It's in there for a reason. You can damage it. You can subvert its normal actions and functions, and maybe that contributes in some way to these problems. But that's the smoke. It's not the fire. Something else is causing that to happen in the first place. And so you can die and choke on smoke in a house fire, and so the fire didn't kill you. So the smoke killed you. It can still be dangerous, but the smoke wouldn't exist if the fire wasn't there. Does that make sense? Like this is the smoke. It's not the fire. This is the warning signal of something else happening. It's not the thing itself. This is something that can potentially cause harm, and that's never been proven either. But it's not the origin of it. There's something else that's causing it to act inappropriate. Like if you're glycating things and you're damaging LDL and it's turning into SD-LDL, does that contribute in some way? Maybe, but maybe not. It could very well be that it has nothing to do with it, and it's just a sign of something going wrong as opposed to something contributing to something going wrong. But either way, you're not going to have SD-LDL if you eat a normal high-fat carnivore diet. You're only going to get that when you're eating carbs and sugar and alcohol and seed oils. You're not going to get it any other ways. So watch my video called The Truth About Cholesterol and Heart Disease. That's something that everybody should watch on a carnivore diet. You need to know the facts about cholesterol and heart disease. You need to know the history and the origins. People just don't look back. They just say, oh, well, this is what it is. Everyone knows it. No, you cannot do that. The origins of these things in so many things in medicine and in life are so bad. The basis for these things are just garbage. Zoe Harcum did her PhD on whether or not the original guidelines on limiting cholesterol and saturated fat and meat were justified. And she looked at all the evidence that was available at the time. It was like, absolutely not. These were completely unjustifiable. This was fraud. We know this. The person who was head of the USDA who made these guidelines, he was bought and paid for by the sugar companies. We have his contract. He got paid $6,500 to work for these bastards, right? That's equivalent to about $55,000 now. So this is a fraud. It's a known fraud. That's not up for debate. That's not a question. That's not a baseless accusation. That's in the medical literature. That their memos are published. This is a matter of record at this point. Hey everyone, really happy to announce a new sponsor for the show and for everybody down in Australia. It's Stockman Steaks, who are delivering high quality grass-fed and finished pasture-raised beef and other meats, flash frozen and vacuum sealed to your door, something that I've been enjoying a lot of myself recently as well. They also have a great range of specialty items such as high-fat keto mince and carnivore beef and organs mince with liver, kidneys, and beef heart as well. So use code Chaffee today for a free order of beef mince or another specialty gift along with your order at stockmansteaks.com.au, and I'll see you over there. Thanks, guys. So, this is not what we've been told it was. So, you need to know the origins of the stuff. You need to know the history. You need to know why this stuff is just not anything that you need to worry about, at least in the way that they've said. Can you glean some information off your cholesterol? Yeah, absolutely. Is it anything close to what they said it was? Absolutely not. I never look at people's cholesterol or my own cholesterol when worried about heart disease, unless I'm looking at, see if they have low HDL and high triglycerides, which is a marker of metabolic dysfunction, and metabolic syndrome increases your risk for developing heart disease by 600%. LDL doesn't. Low HDL, high triglycerides do. Diabetes increases by 1,000%, smoking by around the same. So, that's the only thing I would care about in someone's cholesterol. LDL cholesterol is associated with longevity. Total cholesterol is associated with longevity. They have inverse relationships with cardiovascular disease, heart attacks, and strokes. So, I don't consider high cholesterol a high. That's an arbitrary, as Bart K would say, a value judgment. Someone's just said, this is what we say is high and this is what's low. Based on what? Based on who? That's someone made that arbitrary decision based on a false premise, based on bad information. And so I don't think that we can actually look at that. And there's the lean mass hyper responders data has come out. It just shows the people on ketogenic carnivore diets, ketogenic diets like a carnivore diet, high fat meat based diet, all their markers improve, just their LDL goes up. Okay, what does that mean? They're getting heart disease? Turns out it doesn't. As people were on these LDLs that were much higher than they think are safe for an average of 4.7 years, did not have any progression in their atherosclerosis, right? And in fact, the trend was to reverse it and reduce it, right? As compared to I was at the Miami Heart Study, that cohort of healthy people that ate low fat sort of diets and had low LDL cholesterol and low heart disease. It was better than them, right? This is not what we've been told it was. So hopefully that's reassuring. Do watch that episode on the truth about cholesterol and heart disease. I think that it's a good place to get a lot of information in one place to just show that this is not the whole argument. This is not the whole story, that there is definitely a lot more going on here than they make out.
In their own words, in their own documentation, detailing how they paid off 3 Harvard professors to falsify data and publish fraudulent studies to make it appear as if cholesterol was causing heart disease, or is at least correlated with heart disease, and exonerating sugar, even though sugar was the problem. They call this an empty calorie, okay? So that's where that phrase comes from, okay?